Hello there, lovely listeners and viewers. You are back down the red rabbit hole. We knew you couldn't keep away, and it's a good job you didn't, because I'm here. I'm best-selling author NB Peacock, otherwise known as Nikki. And of course, always with me is Lisa Shepherd. Lisa,
Hello, I'm here. I'm not a best-selling author. I'm
what's your...
an attempted comedian and a trained therapist. I
You
actually got
are.
training in that one.
You had a better list than that. What did we come up with? Runner and
Oh yeah, slow
mum,
runner, slow AF runner, in
great
fact.
mum. There was something else as well.
I'm a mum. Yeah, I'm a mum.
Drinker of wine
Drinker of wine and beer and cider.
and anything that...
Watcher of true crime,
What's
listener of
yeah.
true crime.
But we're not alone. Lisa did,
We're
go
not.
out with her
Yeah,
sack.
author capturer. Is that
Oh yeah,
is
author
that
capture.
is that
Yeah,
that word?
that's you.
Author
But
snatcher.
you got a good one this time, didn't you?
I
She was nice
did.
and
I'm getting
slow, and
better.
she clearly wanted to be caught. I think she'd
I think
heard
she
good things
did.
about,
She did.
other authors coming down the rabbit hole and having a bit of time to themselves. But we've got the best-selling author, Valerie Keogh, and I'm hoping I pronounced that right, Valerie.
You did. You did
Yay!
indeed. Thank you very much.
Whether I can do that next week, I have no idea, but I did it. So, Valerie, tell us a little bit about yourself as an author. What do you write?
I write crime and psychological thrillers. I started writing crime about 20, almost 20 years ago. Mainly because that's what I grew up reading. I grew up on Agatha Christie books, as most of us have done. Well, my era anyway. They were the books my mother had at home, so they were the books I read first. So when I started writing, I wrote crimes. I wrote a crime series that's, in fact, is published. I self-published it initially, and then when I got a publishing contract in 2016, the publisher took on that series, and I wrote two more in it. So there's six in that. It's a series based in Ireland. And then about 6 years ago, I switched to writing psychological thrillers. And by accident, really, just the book that was in my head happened to turn out to be a psychological thriller. In the way publishers like to put you into a genre because it suits their marketing. So I didn't really know what to call this book, and it ended up, they said, oh, it's a psychological thriller. So personally, I think they're more domestic noir than psychological thrillers, but I will just go with the flow. I think publishers seem to think that psychological thriller tag sells better than domestic noir. So I don't really mind. I just write the books, and the marketing departments, I let them at it really. So I write psychological thrillers. I write about 3 books a year. So I write quite quickly.
That's prolific.
Yeah, but I go from writing a book to editing a book to thinking about the next book, then to writing that book and editing. You know what it's like. It's just a constant circle, especially when you're writing 3 books a year. It is a constant circle. So I don't ever stop. And
And I
there's
know
always something in my head waiting to jump out into a book. So, or I get an idea from something I see or something somebody says, which is good.
that's the best way to be. I noticed you've got all your
Yeah.
book covers behind you.
Yeah. And I have them in
Mm.
translation as well.
Oh, blimey.
I'll give you a laugh about the one, the translation ones. Hang on a second. I should have got it down. Wait a minute. I have them translation to Serbia,
Oh,
but I don't know if you can you, is that reverse for you, is it?
no, no, that's fine.
They spelt my name wrong
Oh, no.
on the
Ah,
lovely hardback cover. But the funniest thing is I got 2 books. Oops. They did it right on one and wrong on the other. So I'm a Kellogg. I'm a I'm a
Maybe sponsored
cornflake.
by the cereal company.
I'm like a cornflake.
Yeah. Other cereals are
Special
available.
K.
You have to laugh at these things because they weren't going to reprint it all with my name correct. So hey,
Well, at least you can change the ebook, can't you?
yeah, just smile.
One thing. So you're down the rabbit hole to talk about some very odd things, aren't you, Valerie? You've done some really interesting research.
Research is definitely a rabbit hole. I mean, I like to try and find different ways to kill people.
As do we all.
Yeah, all our internet searches must be hilarious. One of my books, I had to research mummifying people. And it's actually surprisingly easy to mummify somebody. You just have to get the temperature right. You have to take all the guts out, obviously, and use a lot of straw. The problem is it's the head. Heads are quite difficult to mummify because to get the brain out, you have to kind of liquidize it and suck it out of the brain. So to get around that, my character decapitated the bodies. But that was, I mean, you have to, as you know yourselves, you have to make the books realistic. So I didn't want someone saying, oh, well, you can't mummify a head. So
I'm going back to school here, but I'm thinking about surely when we were doing the Egyptians in school, didn't they have instruments that they used to jam up the nose, reel them out a little bit and to break it all up and then pull it out through the nose?
So it's totally gross. So my character didn't want to do that. So much easier just to use a saw and chop the head off. So
the Egyptians had like Coptic jars, didn't they? So they had all the organs. So they could take the organs into the afterlife with them as well.
Yeah. My character didn't want. My character actually ends up having these people sitting around a table, like a tableau. So it's quite fun,
heads,
actually. Headless, headless people sitting around the table.
Headless, not legless this time.
Yeah, not legless, not legless. Headless.
Not your house,
actually, they were dead. They weren't legless. So. Yeah, so that was one of my Irish series books that was in. So, but I like to find I tend to kind of find unusual things to kill people with. And there was an article in the Metro a few years ago about a family in I can't remember the name, Zanzibar, that the mother and her children died from eating contaminated turtle meat, which is a big problem in Zanzibar. Yeah, it's a big problem. And it's called chelantoxism. So I used that in one of my books. In fact, in The Wives, character gets killed by eating poisoned turtle meat. That's why I had to set the book in Zanzibar, because it was the only place I knew where you could die from eating poisoned turtle meat. They've actually banned the sale of turtle meat in Zanzibar because it's a cultural thing. People still eat it and they die. And it's not a very nice way to die, I researched.
I really want to know what happens. Is it the macabre part of me?
You poo. In fact, my editor said to me, "Shit, Valerie, there's a bit too much bodily fluids in this book. Could you maybe delete it a bit?" Because I am a nurse, so I used to be a nurse, so poo and puke and stuff don't really bother me. But I think my editor got a little bit queasy reading about the amount of times my poor character had to poo.
How do you cook a turtle?
How do you cook? I don't actually know. I suppose you just
boil it in shell or
fry
it. Barbecue.
You probably boil it. You probably.
Yeah.
I didn't actually research how to cook it.
Yeah, but sure. I'm just hoping there's a way that you can cook it so you can avoid getting food poisoning, or is it?
No, you can't. You can't. There's no way of cooking this. If it's contaminated, no matter what you do with it, you're going to die. If you just don't eat. If you go to Zanzibar, just don't eat turtle meat. Yeah, don't eat it. And it's not all turtles are contaminated, but there's so many of them are that they just banned selling turtle meat. So
now part of me is wondering, is it a natural thing? Like, is it like a defense? Like isn't it the sloth who's poisonous if he gets eaten? Like his belly has stuff in it that kills other animals if they try and eat it. It's like because he's so slow. It's like his only defense. I'm wondering, is it like a natural defense of the turtle, or is it to do with poisoning the oceans?
Probably. I think it's contamination in the ocean.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Well, there you go then.
It's not nice. So yeah. So don't eat turtle.
I'm kind of team turtle, really, because the turtles have been taking the plastic and getting a bad deal for a while now. So maybe they get some strange revenge from beyond the grave.
And the only clue you've got a contaminated turtle is, he's got nunchucks.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Oh wow. Well, wow. Joe, it is making me think of Valerie. You know that lady that case is in the news at the moment, isn't it? The lady who put the poison mushrooms in the pie.
That was great, wasn't it? I mean, it wasn't great, but
not great for the people, but yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean,
I think, to our authors.
I haven't used poisonous mushrooms. I did actually bake cakes with oleander, which a lot of us grow in our gardens, and oleander is poisonous. So if you use any bits of oleander, I minced mine into lemon muffins and killed a few people off. Not real life. I
was going to say, I'm not coming round for dinner, Valerie, sorry.
Yeah. One of my
invite me round and there's turtle meat followed by some lemon muffins menu, I'm going to politely decline.
Lemon is great for disguising flavor. So if it's very lemony, you won't taste the poison.
Oh, we're learning so much.
This is amazing. Valerie, I think you might be. I wouldn't get on the wrong side of you from all of that I've heard so far.
It's so boring just to stab or shoot somebody. You have to be a little bit more inventive, I think. So,
So is turtle meat the most inventive death you've written into one of your novels?
Yeah, it probably was. Actually, no, in fairness, the oleander is, because you can get oleander it's quite common plant to grow here. And it's really pretty. You can get it with pink flowers, but every part of an oleander tree is poisonous. But most people don't eat these things, so you don't go out into your garden, pick a stem of oleander and go boom, 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 like a rabbit. So if you're down a rabbit hole, don't take oleander with you. Just take a carrot. Yeah. So it is, but it is poison.
But my brother's a forager, and he quite often brings stuff like in and presents it like a bouquet of flowers to eat for us. And he made me eat something that tasted like garlic, and he made me eat something that tasted just like pineapple that you can make a syllabub out of. Wow. And it was a weed that you can just get that literally just grows everywhere. But when you rub it around your fingers, it smells of pineapple, and you just make a syllabub, like a dessert out of it. And it just, like you've put pineapple in it. Obviously, that wasn't poisonous.
No.
He has an app.
Just make sure he doesn't bring you a bouquet of oleander.
Yeah.
Because it's poisonous. It's a very pretty flower, but you don't eat it.
Shall we share with them, Valerie, my devious mountain plan, Lise?
Oh, I happened to tell Nikki, and she didn't know this, that up on Everest, there's lots of bodies, isn't there? Because there's lots of people, lots of really motivated people who didn't make it back either up or down again. And now Nikki has a very devious plan and it might go into her next novel. I hope not into her real life, because that would be worrying. But to have a stage of murder up on Everest, or some sort of mountain climbing murder, because people would think, oh yeah, no, they just succumb to the mountain. That happens, right? And they can't recover the body.
No body, no murder. So they wouldn't be able to. I could do whatever I wanted. My rich husband, I could take him up the mountain, bump him off, and just leave his body there, because I have to leave his body there. And I'd be like, oh no, his body. Oh,
okay, Nikki, do you have a rich husband?
Not yet, but
okay. You're going to find the rich husband and then kill him off.
She is available, guys. So if you're into climbing Everest or fancy it one day. The thing is,
very old and very rich.
They do very randomly find remains sometimes, though. Like some people get brought down, particularly if they're like on the main kind of path. The Sherpas will go up and put their own lives at risk to bring them down. But they sometimes, like the thing where they found like a foot from someone who was up there in like, I don't know, 1930s or something like that. They found like the remnants of the foot. So you never know. They might find bits in the future, 50 years in the future, they'll find the remnants of your rich husband.
You're already sorted in the future. But yeah, I just thought, well, it's the perfect murder, because there's no body to prove there was a murder, and you can legit say they died. And still inherit everything.
I think you might have to wait a few years, though, if there's no body.
Well, no, because there is a body, but you're just not allowed to take it down. So they know where it is, but they
Okay.
can't. You're not supposed to take. You're not supposed to move it.
Hmm.
Because they've got names on Everest as well. So there's one like called Green Boots, and kind of is like a marker for the route up. So when
Oh,
people see green boots, it means they know they're on the right path. And then there's like a Sleeping Beauty was the one that set Nicky off, because she had gone up there with her husband and then had kind of succumbed to the elements. He left her, he went down, and then he went back up, and then he succumbed to the elements as well, which is when Nicky went. But that could
And then
be.
my writer mind went, oh.
Yeah. A dark little writer's mind went off on one down the hole.
uh,
You see,
The
my
only
boyfriend will
thing,
watch this and be like, "Oh my God," and I'll be like, "That's okay. You're not that rich to bother."
the only thing with the Everest kind of plan though is I'm not sure it fits into like the domestic noir kind of genre, because am I right? And this is non-author brained Lisa, because I'm not an author, so I don't have an author's brain. But isn't it meant to be like things that happen kind of in the home, in amongst families?
yeah, it is kind
Yeah.
of. But, rules are meant to be broken.
There you go. Adventure noir.
I mean, The Wives is it's set in Zanzibar because I needed it to be set in Zanzibar. So
Oh, that's the turtle death.
yes,
So
but it does start. It starts in the UK and it ends in the UK. So you could do that with your Everest book. Start in the UK, end in the UK, and have all the murder and gore and everything at Everest. You see, so yeah,
You're still assuming I'm going to write a book about it.
yeah.
not just do it.
So, Valerie, we were talking about sort of other types of research, and you're researching nightmares at the moment.
Yeah. Well, the book I'm writing at the minute, I'm an absolute pantser. So I start writing with a very vague idea of where my book is going. So, and then I hope to God it just will eventually end up being a proper story. So this woman is having nightmares and she's waking up at 3 a.m. with this nightmare. But I remember when I was nursing, we always used to say that around 2 or 3 a.m. is witching hours, when we had the most deaths. And it's a lot of nurses will say that. But in fact, when I started researching it, it's also called the devil's hour. 3 o'clock is called the devil's hour because Jesus Christ is supposed to have died at 3 p.m. and 3 a.m. is the reverse of 3 p.m. So it's like an inverted crucifix. So 3 a.m. is the devil's hour. So yeah.
And
So it is. The
3
devil's hour is the
p.m.
witching hour. Between 3 and 4 is the creepiest time. So I have my character somebody else has told her that's the time when the afterlife and this life, the distance between them is the most narrow. So it's the time when spirits from one side can contact people on earth easier. And she's been haunted by the deaths of friends, so she thinks she's hearing them from the afterlife. She doesn't really believe she is, but now she thinks she might be.
Oh. Well, Valerie, I've got a little bit of a story for you about that. But first of all, I have to apologize to all the listeners and readers because I just found out I hadn't actually plugged my microphone in. I was like, what's this on me?
I did think you were a bit hard to hear.
Yeah. And now I'm better. But I was like, oh my God, I hadn't plugged it in.
Twist.
Anyway, it's plugged in now. So hopefully it's
You're
going to be
here
much
now.
better.
Yeah.
I'm here now. You guys sounded perfect anyway. So
you missed enjoying the godly hour at 3 p.m. because I was thinking that is a really nice hour because that's usually when I have a snack. That's
At
normally
3?
like 3 p.m.
in
is
the
a bit of
morning.
a lull in the blood sugar, and it's about time I have a cake
no, the
without any
godly
flowers
hours
in
in
it.
the afternoon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Threesies. You can't beat 11sies and threesies.
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 It's
Coffee
just
for me.
I get a bit tired, and then I'm like, all right, I've got to go and seek out something with sugar in it now.
Yeah.
Oh no, if I kept biscuits or cake in the house, I would just be eating it all the time. They'd be calling to me, eat me, eat me, eat me. And now
Maybe the voices calling
can't,
for
yeah,
it.
yeah. I can't eat one biscuit. It has to be a whole packet.
Yeah.
I don't buy them.
Well, story-wise, I promised you a story. So
Yes,
you know the classic horror film Nightmare on Elm Street?
yes.
Yep. Where there's Freddy Krueger and he is hunting these kids that live on Elm Street through their dreams. Well, that was actually based on a true story, believe it or not.
Really?
Yep. There was
Ooh.
a case of these teenagers dying in their sleep, and no one could figure out, and to this day, no one can figure out why they died. And that's what actually inspired Wes Craven to write Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, wow. That is weird.
Yeah, they were just going to sleep and then just dying, and no one knew why.
And
And
they never discovered what?
nope, they never discovered. And they were all in the same, I think it was, I'm gonna check it, but I think it was like a village, maybe an African village.
Hmm.
I'll double check it, but it was very interesting because it was like, I mean, obviously Wes Craven
Murder,
then took it,
or is it a toxin?
but they were all just the teenagers.
Okay. Weird. So you get readers who say things are far-fetched, and there's nothing as far-fetched as real life.
No,
No,
Crazy things
it's
happen.
what we find down here, isn't it, Nikki? The stories people tell us, you go, wow, I
Yeah.
thought that was just in a story, but it's not.
actually, it was in the 70s, and it was reported on in the Los Angeles Times, apparently.
Wow.
Mm.
I'm just having a look. I can send you the link anyway, but it's
I mean, there's a lot of physiological changes that are going on in adolescence. There's a lot
Mhm.
happening for the adolescent body, so it might make it
Oh,
more
it was-
susceptible to something.
it was Southeast Asian men dying suddenly in their sleep from unexplained causes. Exclusively, it was like refugees from Cambodia and Vietnam
Wow.
that it was
Oh, that
affecting.
sounds...
At least 13 of them. 13!
Oh my God.
Oh, just to be there.
Yeah.
They didn't all die at 3 o'clock in the morning, did they?
Yeah.
Well, maybe. There's no times of death here, but yeah.
I wonder, so they were refugees from, did you say Cambodia?
Yeah, and Vietnam.
From Cambodia. So that, I mean, that was horrific, wasn't it? So they would have seen, and also in Cambodia, wasn't there like starvation?
Mhm.
Like that warfare was absolutely the killing fields and all
Yeah,
of that.
yeah.
So I wonder if there's anything to do with like heart rate, maybe some PTSD kind of dreams and raised heart rates and
Weird.
things that potentially were related, and maybe something about there could have been something that they were accessing.
They
when
must
they
have
were
done
no longer in
autopsies to
Cambodia.
see.
Mm,
Obviously, it didn't show anything up.
mm. No,
Very,
no.
very weird. So you're going to blame like PTSD, do you think? But they were young. It wasn't like they were old and had like weak hearts or organ, there could be like organ
Yeah,
failure
but there's
or
a lot the
something.
stress will do to a body, and
Okay.
particularly actually if you're younger and then you've experienced it when you're younger, then there's more impacts.
And do these people know each other, Nikki?
You're asking a lot of questions, Valerie, that are just
Yeah.
not in this article. Not really.
Yeah. Nikki.
I'll have to be my research for tomorrow
I know.
now.
Yeah, I'll send you the link. It's absolutely fascinating in terms of to me, there's a lot of like horror films, especially in the 80s and early 90s, that people are like, oh, they're just way out there. But when you dig a little deeper, they're actually based on something that's happened to the director or the writer or the producer or something that got the ball rolling. And you find that with books as well, isn't there? There's always something that kind of like Everest, sticks in your head, and you're like, oh, I could do something with that. And next thing you know, it's like rolling along, collecting more information and more research and down further rabbit holes until you've got a story.
Mm.
But yeah, I just found that absolutely fascinating in terms of, oh my God, there was another one that I don't know whether you know about, the video Nasty, the original one of I Spit on Your Grave.
No.
No? Oh,
I missed that one.
This was 70s. I think it was banned because it was too violent. But you know what it's like whenever they ban something, everybody then wants to see it even more. So it's a bit of a marketing thing. But it was all about a woman that gets attacked, and it's quite harrowing in terms of the attack. But then she survives and she gets revenge on all the men that attacked her.
Yay!
In even more horrible ways. Yeah, it's a good film from that kind of point of view. But she's actually a writer. So she's out in this cabin in the woods sort of writing her novel when the attack kind of happens. And it was that I'd watched this program that was like how it actually came into the heads of the I think it was the director or the producer that had sort of started it, and it was because he'd found a woman who'd just been attacked in an almost identical situation and had got her to the hospital and stayed with her until she'd, obviously been looked after. And all that time he was just thinking about, what he'd want her to be able to get, revenge and that's kind of how it all came about. But yeah, it was just fascinating.
Never going to go. I'm never going to go to a cabin in the woods to write. That's for sure.
No, I think that's kind of across the board, isn't it?
Yeah.
Least would you
That
ever?
should be one of the murder markers, shouldn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, yeah,
absolutely.
leave off hitchhiking now because that's kind of gone out the window. But cabin in the woods, I think, is the one.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be an Airbnb in the woods now, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
We've evolved a little bit,
Yeah.
Murder cabin.
Right.
And there was that famous cabin murder, wasn't there? Was it the murder at cabin 28 or something like that had the whole family? I don't think they ever really solved that one either. That was what the film The Strangers was based on.
You watch some creepy movies.
I do, Valerie.
I was doing research. I read some horrendous statistics, and they happen to be based in the US. 3 women every day in the US are killed by a current or former partner or current or former husband. 3 women every single day. And every 5 days, there's a family annihilation.
Oh. That's
Every
horrific.
5 days.
They're incredible statistics.
But the US is a big country, though. I mean, it's
yes.
what, like 50 times bigger than us?
Yeah, but they also have very loose gun laws. So it's going to be
Family
worse.
annihilation, though.
Yeah.
Every 5 days.
Every 5 days.
Surely that has to
Horrendous.
have some sort of basis in like conditions in which people are living, like driving people to do this sort of thing, because that's
Poverty.
that's something you would think about in rare conditions, like people who have had severe, mental breakdown of some
Happens a
kind
lot.
or
But it even happens, I mean, over the last few years, you've seen quite a few episodes in this country and in Ireland, in fact, as well. Husbands shooting their children, their wives, and themselves. And it's pretty horrendous. But once every 5 days sounds, I mean, I know it's a huge population, but it sounds, it's a very cheerful thing to talk about.
Yeah. But it also reminds me again, and I never thought this case would ever be so useful within the podcast again and again, is the case of that guy that hacked his family to death with an axe because he was having a nightmare that he was getting attacked by emus or ostriches or something. And that's why he said that he was having, a horrible nightmare. He was getting attacked by these birds. And he killed his wife and his mother-in-law and almost his children, I think, at the same time.
And was that wasn't the one where he drove there, was it? But was it the other one that I presented, which was the mother-in-law again?
Yeah.
But he drove there. He drove to her house and then attacked her, but said he was asleep. And I think they believed it.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, I'm going to drop. This was one of my crime off things that I was going to bring in, but I'm going to bring it in a little bit early. Let me just squiz through my notes a little bit, because when I was looking and searching, I found out about a thing called sexomnia. Sexomnia. Right? Have you heard of that? Sexomnia.
No.
Keep it clean.
Well. It's not wonderful. In the article that I read about it was in The Guardian. It's a rare sleep disorder. And it is when you start to engage in sexual activity while you're asleep. So you're in that phase, like in those sleepwalking cases. It's like a sleepwalking thing. So you're in that, you have no memory of it. You may have your eyes open, but your body's kind of acting out of your control. But the reason that the Guardian had done this article about it is that it is being used as for defense in cases of rape. And it has been in 60% of cases where sexomnia was part of the defense, a not guilty verdict was returned.
No.
You're kidding me.
60%.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Now, I might not use Everest, but I might use that.
You're going to use Everest because it's so good.
Sexomnia. It's just a
I
great
should have
word.
saved it. I should have saved it for the crime off. I would have won again.
You should. But
Sexomnia.
Yeah, sexomnia.
Sexomnia!
It's a good word.
I'll send you that.
Sounds like Spider-Man. Sexomnia.
As you
Sorry,
read through
getting
it
carried
as
away.
well, my initial thing was obviously it's the people doing the attacks, and I'm going to name it. I'm going to say men doing the attacks who are using that defense, but actually it's been used as a defense for the man against the woman. So that she was engaging in sexomnia. Well, not engaging, but she was
But not
experiencing
consenting.
sexomnia. Yeah,
But not consenting.
Not consenting.
Wow.
Because she was asleep and initiated it. He joined in, and then said, "Well, I didn't know she initiated it." But she, it's right. But it was used. Well, I don't know in what detail it was used against her, but one of the women in the article, it was used against her. They said she. So.
Eek.
Wow.
It's awful, but it is listed in the DSM-5, so it is a psychological disorder. But 60% of cases getting away with it.
Yeah, that's pretty horrendous.
And it wasn't exactly a good statistic to begin with, was it?
No. Well, you got to think about the details as well. Was the thing that kind of got me, that like maybe sleepwalking like that in your own home. When you've got a history of some sleepwalking as well, all right, maybe. But like, I think it's been used in defense where they're in other, they've gone to someone else's place, they're not, or they've had a night out, it's not their familiar scenario.
Must be very good lawyers.
Yeah. And unscrupulous.
Scrupulous, definitely. Well, as we've hinted towards, we are going to have a true crime off with Valerie, but not this episode. It will be in the next episode because we've done our time, and we've got to spend a little bit of time tying Valerie up, haven't we? Just to keep her for the weekend.
Do you want to go? Would you like it?
She seems pretty happy about it, so I think we're okay.
I've got a defense to use. It's all right.
And she's definitely awake.
Yeah.
So thank you, listeners and viewers, for sticking with us, and remember to follow the Red Rabbit on all your social media. And thank you, Valerie, for being slow enough for Lisa to pop into the sack. And we will see you all next time. See you later. Bye-bye.
Like and subscribe, guys.